Welcome to Biohacking Beauty, your go-to anti-aging skincare podcast. We are your hosts, Anastasia
and Amitai,
the founders of Young Go Skincare, and we go beyond the trends to bring you the real science on skin longevity and full body optimization.
Because aging isn't just about wrinkles, it's also about cellular health. From cutting-edge skincare to next-level biohacks, we'll show you how to age younger, live longer, and feel better doing it.
Which is why today is a big day for us. We're launching something that doesn't just enter the mist category, it rewrites it from scratch, and we just know you guys are going to love it. But first and foremost, we just want to tell you about why we loved formulating it.
Yeah, we want to kind of tell you the story behind how a podcast is created. And
podcast or a product?
What did I say?
Podcast.
That too, but I meant a product.
And should we say which product?
Yes, go ahead.
It's Blue Peptide Spray. So it's our very first product with methylene blue, and to our knowledge, it's also the only existing product on the market, spray with methylene blue for your skin.
And the first skincare product with therapeutic concentration of methylene blue.
Exactly.
Stacked with NAD precursors or NAD boosters. It's actually more than precursors, regenerative peptides and antioxidant enzymes in a way that's never been done before.
Yeah, and so many of you have asked us to create a spray. And we have a spray right now, which is, it's nice. It's the vitamin C spray that you can mist your skin with as you go. But we knew that we can make it better. And for a while, we've been thinking about, if we were to, because what we do here at Young Goose, we always improve our formulas. If you've been with us from the beginning, you know that the Hyperbaric mask that you're using right now, it's the version 2. We had a different version before, and this is new and improved. The U3 set that you're using, it's new and improved. We had a different version before. The minute we could make it better, we did with newer and improved molecules or delivery system. And that just goes across the whole SKU, the whole line of our product. So it was time to improve our spray, and we really didn't want it to become another antimicrobial spray that you maybe know from so-and-so brand, or just another hydrating spray, which basically you just put glorified water right before your serum, so you lock in some hydration. We just really wanted to kind of disrupt the spray category. And we also, for a while, we're fans of methylene blue as an ingredient, and we just will tell you why, but it just was best used in a spray.
Yes. And well, there's a lot to get to, but the goal is that by the end of this episode, it's more about telling you about the product. Yes, it's telling you about the product, the science behind the product, etc. But it's really, our goal here is for you to understand how we think about product formulation, why we built this product the way that we have, why it works differently from anything else on the market, and also exactly how to fit it into your routine, hopefully, if we can convey it correctly, with nuance, with variation that are actionable. They're not only hypothetical.
Yeah.
Right?
So today we'll walk you through the why and the how, from methylene blue's unique redox chatelaine magic to the ingredient stack that turns this into full skin energy system you can spray on in seconds. And I just can't wait to get into it and kind of show a little bit behind the scenes of our formulation.
Yeah.
And I will also say that you, Amitai, have been using methylene blue for yourself, as an ingredient orally for a really long time. Shout out to Transcriptions.
Shout out.
And their trochees. And Amitai and I, we've always had lack of developing friendships with, our fellow kind of entrepreneurs in the space. And we've been fans of Transcriptions for a while, and we're also lucky to have become friends with them.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
Funny story. I was one of the first people ever to subscribe to their pre-launch emails.
Yeah.
A long time ago.
And and also like in 2022, we hosted a party together, the Biohacking Conference. And back then, transcriptions already was kind of very famous among the biohackers. And I remember when we were creating like a list of guests and invitees to the party, what they noticed that a lot of people didn't actually know about us yet. So they would say, oh, we're hosting with the Angus. And they would tell us like, oh my God, guys, so many people still don't know you. They're going to have their mind blown when they're going to discover you and use your products. And so much has changed since 3 years ago. Like, I feel like maybe we're not an even amount of fame, but definitely a lot more people know about us since then. But
I don't think it's a competition.
No, it's not a competition. No, it's not a competition. But what I mean to say is that we really go way back with transcriptions. And even back then, when we were still small and maybe not they have the means and the resources and the connections to go and formulate, with any skincare company, basically. But they really wanted to create something together, and they kind of kept nudging us for years of like, you guys, we can send you Methylene Blue to your lab, just like experiment with it. And they pointed out so much research for Methylene Blue topically. They're like, listen, this really can be your next big ingredient. Like, why don't you start playing with it?
Oh, play with it.
Yeah.
And I think, not to toot, but that was something that I really wanted to do. And I really consider this spray.
It's your brainchild.
I mean, it was a lot of work. There are many things which we're going to talk about that we had to solve. Some things we even can't talk about, because they're proprietary. But it was definitely a product. It is definitely a product that I'm very proud of. But that was a kind of a dream come true of mine. There are a lot of things here. We're going to talk about, why and stuff like that. And I'm going to try to keep it at a very not nerdy level. And this is really my goal for this podcast. But the way that we've spoken about off air about like having this discussion, like this conversation today is like more kind of you interviewing me about like my baby, right?
Yeah, for sure. And I will say that, and that's why I also said that you kind of like used Methylene Blue for a while in your personal stack. I haven't. Methylene Blue, for some of you guys that don't know, like most people will use it. Like a lot of the times you might watch some podcast and you notice that somebody has a blue mouth. Like chances are they took Methylene Blue spray or
chances are they're me.
Mitai has done it on all top podcasts that he's ever recorded at. So if you see him with the blue mouth, he took a Methylene Blue troche. So why do you, Mitai, take Methylene Blue when you go on podcasts, for example?
So the short answer is that Methylene Blue is a mitochondrial optimizer. It optimizes the way our cells create energy. Therefore, you are able to yield more from if you push your cells kind of to the extreme for that matter. That could be your brain cells. For that, if we're talking about a podcast, it puts you in the zone, in other words, but it also puts individual cells in the zone. Like the reason we wanted to create a skincare product with it is because it does kind of the same thing to the skin, right? But that's why I use it, for example, when I go to podcast, aside from the fact that it has a protective mechanism against it. We're talking about the brain. It even has some degree of protection against like brain trauma if someone gets a concussion. So it's really we're going to get into it, but it has.
Let me navigate the conversation. We'll get to it.
All right.
So this is why you use it when you go to podcasts.
Yes.
Now I know that if anyone would go into like a biohacking clinic, they most and they're not on a podcast, they're in a clinic, right? They would be suggested to take a Methylene Blue troche when they go into CVAC, hyperbaric chamber, when they do red light therapy. Why is that?
Wow, I like your questions. Okay, so we're still talking about the mitochondria. Like not not everything around methylene blue would be mitochondria focused, if you would, but we're now talking about mitochondria. And the way that mitochondria creates energy is through something called the redox. And methylene blue is a redox shuttle. It basically is a waiter of electrons, for that matter. Okay, you can think of it like a jumper cable for tired mitochondria. In mitochondria, statistically, everyone has mitochondrial deficiency somewhere, or it's not deficiency; it's mitochondrial.
There is dysfunction.
Dysfunction. That's what. So there is mitochondrial dysfunction somewhere all the time. And when our mitochondria, that power plant of the cell, which we have many per cell, when they are dysfunctional, they are like an engine that leaks oxidative stress, or you can think of fuel. And that leakage of oxidative stress is a really big part of aging. The reason you don't want to be like metabolically unhealthy and get into, you mentioned, for example, hyperbaric oxygen therapy chamber, or, in the last podcast, we mentioned even infrared sauna. Like, the reason you don't want to stress your body, even in a positive way, when you are metabolically unhealthy or mitochondrially unhealthy, is because it costs you more oxidative stress to create energy. And at some point, it could be so severe, or if you push your mitochondria and it's unhealthy, it will become so severe that it would actually make you weaker, it would make you iller, it would make you sicker cumulatively. What methylene blue does, it really is like that magic molecule that allows mitochondria, even if it's really bad, to behave optimally. So it has a few options, but one of them is allowing mitochondria to function correctly, even if it's in a lower output state or in a poorer output state.
Okay. So what I'm getting from everything that you said, and I think most listeners that don't have like the background that even, I do, is that basically methylene blue is just really good for mitochondria, for protecting it, for shuttling the ingredients, for like the output of, the energy production. And that's the role that it plays, let's say, in broad longevity.
Yeah.
So now let's bring it back to skincare. So if it's such a world-renowned ingredient, how come you just really don't see it in skincare?
That's a great question. And the question really starts from what are we looking for when we look at skincare ingredients? And I think a lot of it is user experience right then and there. And methylene blue is a problematic ingredient because conventionally you would need the amount that you would need in order to create a response would stain the skin. And as we said in the beginning, there is a something that we can't really get into because it's proprietary, but it's an anti-staining technology, which allows us to create a product with the same amount of concentration. And this is true, like 1-to-1 concentration, the same concentration you'll have in an IV without staining.
Yeah. And I think as we were working on developing this product, whenever we would tell people about it or send an early sample to test, that was everyone's concern. Is this going to make me blue? So I just want to tell everyone that you can spray it on your face and your face is not going to be blue. Now, if you're wearing your best white robe or you're wearing a white t-shirt, make sure that it's like far enough. Like if you're gonna spray directly on your t-shirt at a very short distance, it's probably gonna stain blue, and just don't do that. Like, little bits. But it is not staining your face blue. And this is like you already answered my question. This is part of the reason why you don't see it in skincare, despite so much research. So actually, methylene blue, what people might not know, is very researched for topical applications. There is studies done in vivo, in vitro, if of all of the benefits that exist. So can you speak a little bit to benefits of methylene blue specifically for your skin?
Yeah, so I think we should start by from where we stopped off with that oxidative stress pattern. So our skin gets, as opposed to the rest of our body, which the balance is just like, hey, we create energy, some of it turns into oxidative stress, most of it doesn't, and we're healthy, right? In our skin, there is another element that is like extremely important. It actually is 80% of why our skin ages, is environmental stressors that lead to oxidative stress. So whether it is UV radiation, blue light, pollution, heavy metals, EMFs, glyphosates, whatever that is,
Exactly. And it's always external.
Yeah. The reason they are affecting our skin, at the end of that, whatever that is, the language of damage is oxidative stress, is free radicals.
Yeah. And that's a very important, that's a very important kind of piece of information for people that don't realize that this is the way the damage accumulates and this is how your skin receives it. It's like this overload of oxidative stress. So different sources, but the same kind of like trauma, the way that the skin receives the trauma. This is the
and we see that a lot. Like we see like I call it like the way a caterpillar moves or a worm moves. Like there is many, or you can think of a few things. You can say, if someone has this point, they want to convince you in something. Hey, they want to convince you to go to see a movie that they like, right? They can give you like 1,000 different excuses, but all you're hearing is, I want to go see that movie. So you cut them off and you say, oh, at the end of the day, you just want to tell me you want to see that movie, right? Like what happens a lot. Anyway, so that is oxidative stress or free radical damage. They are interchangeable as far as our skin is concerned. At the end of the day, that is the process that's going to create damage in the skin. That's what accumulates. Even if we talk about, there is a company, like really, let's shout out, like, OneSkin just got $20 million invested in it. And obviously we're very happy. We've known them from the beginning. And they're a company that focuses on senescent cells. This is, I think, a great example because they've built, a great brand on talking about senescent cells. But why are senescent cells bad for you? Because at the end of the day, they create stress. They create oxidative stress through SAS. Okay,
got it.
Basically, like everything has to do with oxidative stress at the end of free radicals.
Got it. Okay, so let's go back to my question. So the methylene blue for skin.
Yeah.
So the skin has accumulated all of that immense amount of oxidative stress from everything that our modern environment bombards our skin. So be it UV damage, be it toxins in the air, be it anything external, obviously sun damage, etc. So now what? Methylene blue?
So methylene blue does two things. First of all, we said part of what your mitochondria does, especially if it's not optimal, is create more oxidative stress, right? Oxidative stress is not necessarily bad if it's resolved, but it's bad if it's accumulated. So first, it makes mitochondria like not have that excessive oxidative stress, which is very hard to do in skin biology. Actually have mitochondria create a lot of energy and lower oxidative stress. Normally, it's like one or the other. Number one. Number two, it's on its own a very strong antioxidant. And what's really cool about it as an antioxidant is that it's not what is classically called a sacrificial antioxidant. So when we talk about our dear old vitamin C, or really any antioxidant you can think about, vitamin E, whatever that is, even lipochromin 6, which we love.
Yeah. They basically all sacrifice themselves
Yes.
to offset oxidative stress. Whereas with methylene blue, what's the difference there?
It's a cyclic antioxidant. It means it goes from basically a state where it donates an electron to stabilize a free radical. So you can imagine free radicals, which cause oxidative stress, as really unstable people going around the world and wanting to tell everyone their sad story. But what happens when they do that? They make another person feel bad, right? So
I think I know what you're trying to do. You're trying to simplify the.
no, I haven't.
Okay.
Well, I just want to say these are like psychologists. Like normally, the oxidative stress normally are like or normal antioxidants are just like a good friend that listens to you, but then they feel bad and you feel better, but you've together you both are not feeling great. And methylene blue is like a psychologist. Like it can go from patient to patient, right? Like it can listen to this sad story, like resolve it, and then it might feel bad for a second, but then they have the next client, and that's their job. So they can go back and forth. Another thing, so it was a good example, no?
Yeah. I just want to like kind of sum it up as let me know if I understand it correctly. Basically, methylene blue, what's so special? One of the we're gonna get to more ways it's amazing for skin health. It's the type of antioxidant that helps to offset oxidative stress and deal with free radicals in the most efficient way possible, where it doesn't sacrifice itself, it stays in the cells, and it can deal with a lot more load of the stress. And as you said, it also helps like that way. It really protects mitochondria from the overload of stress of the free radicals and oxidative stress. So it basically improves mitochondrial function. Like it functions better and also preserves mitochondria.
Yeah, it's like a Swiss Army knife of an electron donor. It can donate an electron to the electron transport chain in the mitochondria.
Yeah.
It can donate donate.
And I appreciate the deep science. I just think that we need to move on to like not go so deep, because it's just going to fly over people's head. That's why I took over leading this discussion. So you don't go into too deep over that.
I got it. But there's another important point, which is photostability. So you could think of fragility of antioxidants for that matter. Okay. So it maintains performance under light exposure, which is unheard of or very rare at least. So it doesn't behave like a fragile antioxidant that gets like used up immediately. Talking about research, again, because we mentioned there's a lot of research around it. In fibroblasts and, by the way, in 3D skin models, methylene blue has been shown to reduce oxidative stress together with improved mitochondrial function, delay cellular senescence, increase dermal thickness, increase hydration, and increase wound healing speed, all in the same time. So it's a when I say a Swiss Army knife, probably it's an overused analogy in skincare. I think this is the perfect product or ingredient to talk about. It outperforms any other antioxidants in like a head-to-head test when all of these things are taken into account.
And why do you think researchers went for it? Like went for conducting all of these studies with methylene blue, for topical application?
Cool. Because it's cool. I think it's a cool molecule, and I think it's just a really, really cool molecule. I mean, it's a molecule that came out of nowhere, basically. It's been used forever in medicine. But in recent years, it's been a fish tank cleaner, right? That's why they use it. So it's a cool molecule to reintroduce back. And that's also why sourcing really matters, because, you don't know if your company just sources like a fish tank cleaner and sells it as a as a whatever. I would say, by the way, we're not the only ones who have it topically. Like there are two other companies that have it topically,
but they don't have a spray.
Doesn't matter. Like even if they have there are full lines of it, but the issue is concentration. So you'll see it's the last ingredient in the ingredient list, which means it has, when we were developing it with transcriptions, I was texting with Dr. Scott Scher, one of the heads of one of the founders of transcriptions, and I was like, do you think their concentration even does anything? It's like maybe to one cell. So so this is the first one that has clinical applications, or that at least corresponds with the research that showed an improvement.
And I personally think the reason there is so much research, sure, there may be some scientists that they have that type of flexibility where they just go and research what's cool. But I think it's also because it has, like we've talked about it before, it has been so effective for cellular health overall in the body that there just must be translation into skin cells in particular. And, there was definitely there was a hypothesis that it could be beneficial for skin health and, the health of the tissue overall. And it has, in fact, clinical data. And as I mentioned, we used the concentration that is used in the studies, which is the key point. Now, it was going to be my question, but you kind of already mentioned it in your previous response, the sourcing. So I don't know if you're aware, but I'm sure you are. There was a little bit of backlash for methylene blue because of if they found methylene blue in the brain during autopsy. So I think it's important to address are there any concerns of using methylene blue, and where maybe one thing at a time. First of all, since I mentioned the backlash, how about you expand a little bit on where it came from and what do you think of it?
So there are concerns with using methylene blue. Like every strong ingredient, there are concerns. Like you can do too much. There's a Goldilocks zone. There's too little, definitely, as we mentioned, but there's also too much with most beneficial things. When I was growing up, my mom told me you can even eat too much cucumber. You should really tell it to Lev because he loves cucumber. Anyway, but there's too much of anything, right? So methylene blue is not dissimilar, and it's not right for everyone, especially when you talk about oral. For example, you can't take it if you're taking SSRIs, as an example. But let's talk about what happened in that study. If someone didn't see it, they can Google. That's very easy. And without getting too technical, because that's not what this podcast is about, methylene blue is used in some rare cases to kind of save people from just before they die from specific things. And the concentration that was used is about, is hundreds of times in magnitude higher than what someone would safely use on a day-to-day basis. So there is a few things. So what we saw in those images is not accumulation. Okay, you can see accumulation, by the way, if people take gold. A lot of people used to take gold for their arthritis. You can see accumulation in the brain. Okay, methylene blue is cleared out very well, and you won't be able to see accumulation. What you're seeing is autopsy photos after they try to save that person's life with methylene blue, with dosages that again are in magnitude hundreds of times more than what a person would be taking in their entire life. So it's very hard to take. I'm trying to think of another example in reality, but
I think maybe this is also something that we didn't really address. But you mentioned that methylene blue is just let's talk about antioxidant on steroids, the best one there is. But what is really methylene blue? What is it as a molecule, as a compound?
Yeah, it's a dye.
Exactly. So it's a dye, but how come it's so therapeutic? Because I think a lot of people that listen to our podcast, they're like clean. They're looking for clean ingredients. They want all natural, and that might not be. They might disagree with their whole philosophy. Like, oh, how can I use dye in skincare? How can this be beneficial? Like, how come this can save someone's life?
So we talked about the the kind of electron aspect, but so there is another aspect here. So to your question, like why is it so beneficial as a wellness molecule? So first of all, I would just say it's like a safety molecule. It's been studied in the concentration that we use, or the concentration you can take orally. It's like 100% safe.
Yeah, so basically it is a clean ingredient.
Yeah, it's a clean ingredient. There are people that troches are much better for them, although it's highly, highly, highly bioavailable, even if you take it as like in your water. Again, sourcing matters. A lot of companies out there are going to use ones that are heavy metals laden. So sourcing is very important. But assuming all things equal, it's 95% bioavailable in the stomach. Okay, so it's a very easy ingredient. Stomach specific, some people get like kind of heartburn because of it. So just bear that in mind. And that's why for a lot of people, troches, which you put between your gums and your cheek, are going to be better. But then you get the blue mouth staining for a while. Okay, having said that, in the skin, obviously there's no risk whatsoever. It's a better administration if we talk about skin health. But there's another thing here that I wanted to say is, yes, it's a clean ingredient, well studied, only good things in those concentrations. Okay, so the thing is, only good things. However, there is one more thing that I think is cool and crucial, and that relates to how we formulate and the decisions we kind of go through when we formulate. It's not about having one ingredient. It's never about having one ingredient work in what we call in vacuum, where there's no ingredient that would do everything. It doesn't exist. An ingredient which would press a button and alone would fix everything. It doesn't exist. And if anyone is telling you that ingredient exists, they're trying to sell you something.
Like a panacea.
Panacea, yeah. It doesn't work like that, okay? Obviously, we're trying to sell something too, so that's not a good example.
No, but
at least they're dishonest. That's what I want to say. When the methylene blue, I think, is like the perfect example of an ingredient that we're looking for, because it creates the environment for other ingredients to work better. And why is that? It's because it's creating the perfect environment for other ingredients, especially the ones that we use, to work better. What do I mean by that? It creates the perfect environment for DNA repair enzymes to work. So you could think of, NAD, resveratrol, spermidine, different precursors of NAD, and other superoxide dismutase, which we're going to talk about. All of those things, at the end of the day, what they're trying to do is they're trying to will our DNA to function in a more youthful state. They all swim against upstream against a stream of oxidative stress. And the crazy thing about methylene blue, because it's that perfect storm of mitochondrial function and reduction of oxidative stress and higher energy in the form of ATP and all of that, you are creating an environment that is optimal for DNA repair, whether it is with ingredients that are in the same formula. But what's cool about it, especially why we chose to do it in a spray, it's also because a spray comes just after your cleanse. We're going to talk about, but just after your cleanse and before you do anything else, it improves any other longevity ingredient that is going to come after that.
I agree. And I think also I would like to add about this one ingredient panacea. Like, we've chatted about it here and there, but it's worth noting we have our proprietary ingredients, like we have our NAD Apex, and we could have put it in a cleanser, in a spray, in a serum, in a moisturizer, in a sunscreen, in a hyperbaric mask, but we didn't, because it's exactly in those layers. Like, it's in a handful of products that makes sense. Like, it's an eye cream because the skin around your eyes is thinner, more delicate. It needs it there, right?
Yeah.
It's in your facial moisturizer for that reason. It's in your neck and chest. It's in your body cream, but it's like in different areas of your body. You don't need it in every single skincare product. And this is why we also, although we are excited about Methylene Bloom, it is not in every single product, because it's exactly what you're saying. We found what's the best that it can give for your skincare routine, and that's the place that it is. Now, Methylene Blue is not the only ingredient in our Blue Peptide Spray.
Mm-hmm.
So I think let's talk about what's inside the formula and how they work together. And let's be brief and snappy.
Brief and snappy?
Almost like fire questions.
Fire?
Rapid fire?
Fire questions. Just fire the question. Anyway, yeah.
So, yeah. So we talked about Methylene Blue, so we don't need to talk about it. What's next? What's the second ingredient?
I'll even be more broad than that. Mm-hmm. The stack is simple. At least on paper, it's extremely simple. Energy, cleanup and signal, or signal for cleanup and repair, and antioxidant network. That's the product. Okay? In practice, it's more of a choreography. So how does that look like? First of all, yes,
how do they dance together?
How do they? Okay, yes. What are the step moves or the dance?
Who lifts who? Who twists who?
Yes, exactly. Who pirouettes? Anyway, so we talked about Methylene Blue. We talked about like mitochondrial redox shuttle, electron transport support, lower oxidative stress, all of those things without shutting signals for repair.
Okay, I know there is one ingredient you're super excited about. There's many ingredients you're super excited about, but one we never talked about on this podcast, and we don't have in other products, which is superoxide dismutase.
Yes. So superoxide, thank you for making me more short and snappy. This is your frontline antioxidant enzyme, okay? It's very rare to find it in skincare because it's very hard to formulate with. And we actually, in the past, if you remember, we recommended glycodin, which is actually like a supplement with it.
Yeah. In our post-melasma, or like in our post-laser, pre-laser, and the podcast about melasma.
So it's your body uses it innately. It's your first responder for a type of free radicals that are called superoxide, and it converts them to less reactive molecule. In short, it's called SOD. SOD levels, I mentioned your body uses them on its own. These are also one of those longevity molecules that decline in the body with age. So topical support, or any type of support, but topical support, when we talk about it here, helps maintain the skin's defenses against, again, everything from UV, pollution, any kind of EMF, all of those, and that would support in turn collagen production, barrier integrity, and pathways like NRF2 or TGF beta, which are signaling pathways for repair and support.
Okay, next up, GHK-Cu, copper tripeptide 1. Or short and snappy. Why here? We use it in other formulas. We have it in Youth Reset. We have it in Youth Daily. Why did you decide to put it in the Methylene Blue Spray?
Collagen production, elastin, and what we call glucosaminoglycan synthesis, which is supporting anything from like wound repair and upregulating gene expression for youthful function to barrier support.
Okay.
It's really a great partner to Methylene Blue.
Okay, why do we have NAD precursors in this product? And we know, I want to not go too in depth, all of them. We have many. So why did we put them here?
Methylene Blue, first of all, we have a new one here, MB20. Not going to get into it. this is really the repair budget of your cells. So the more of it you have, the more your cells can repair, and vice versa. It declines with age. We have less, and really there's no repair happening at least half the time.
Yeah, but I also was asking why NAD precursors interact well with methylene blue and SOD here in this formula. How do they dance together?
They dance together because more NAD means better mitochondrial output, which we talked about before, more DNA repair, which we talked about before, and these enzymes that, again, like repair anything around the DNA. But again, something cool is that all of that supports collagen production. So methylene blue creates more energy, let's say. We have GHK-Cu saying, hey, I want to create more collagen. And then NAD fixes how your DNA messages collagen production and how your cells make collagen. And elastin, hyaluronic acid, all of those things.
Very cool. Spirulina extract.
Oh, spirulina extract is something that we started using because of our ladder serum. That's where really where we invested a lot of research in it, because it's a very hard molecule to have in high concentrations. It can get toxic pretty fast in the skin. So you could think of it as a biologically active, like co-pilot, which is rich in anything from peptide to phycocanines, which supports anything from like antioxidants, tone, photoprotection, collagen matrix preservation, and inhibiting the breakdown of collagen due to things like stress.
Okay, so I think now let's talk about how this methylene blue, Blue Peptide Spray, that's the name of the product. How does it fit into someone's routine, and what to expect after starting to incorporate this product?
Okay, that's going to go after you cleanse your face and before you're doing anything else. Okay, even if it's red light therapy, or even if it's like your normal routine, you apply it on your face, you let it, kind of dry out or absorb for a couple minutes. You can massage it in or not, leave it on. And then you'll do your serum, your moisturizer, whatever that is, goes along great with every product. Outside of the routine, that's something that we recommend, and you can spray it throughout the day, whether it's on your face or on your body.
Yeah, I'm going to do it right now.
Yeah, do it right now. You can do it on me too. Don't leave me hanging over here. Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah, those of you watching.
It smells great. It tastes great too.
Those of you watching, here it is. And even though I'm wearing makeup, you can put it over makeup. And even though I'm wearing a white blazer, it doesn't stay.
Don't spray it on the blazer though.
But anyway, yeah, it's from a distance.
Anyway, first thing you're going to see is something improving called the transepidermal water loss, or TEWL, which means you're going to feel more hydrated. So it improves how your body kind of holds on to moisture. That's going to be like first 2 weeks, you can see that. I would say like 1 or 2 months, you can, since you're reducing oxidative stress and boosting energy and collagen, you're going to start seeing a skin that's more even tone, more firm, etc. And long term, because we're using other ingredients with it, you're going to see anything from less sun damage to, again, firmer skin, tighter skin, etc.
Yeah, I will say that personally, I still use amplifying essence over the spray, but for many of you, like if the budget is a concern, it could be either or. You could choose, am I going to use the methylene blue spray as the second step after cleansing and then go into my serum, or am I going to use both? I will just say that applying serums on slightly damp skin will always be a win, because you're able to lock in moisture. So yeah, basically cleanse your face, apply it, mist it. Then in my case, I apply amplifying essence, then apply the serum. And water is the carrier, so don't let it evaporate before you take advantage of it. So that's why I know you were saying like you can wait for it to, absorb. I personally recommend to kind of go into skincare right away, and I think that's the best use out of it. I do keep it by the computer. I reapply it during the day if I get tired and I just want some kind of like moment of refreshment, that really helps. As I said, you can apply it over makeup. If you're on the go, we will stay tuned. We're also making travel sizes. So you can travel with it. You can apply it, when you're in the air, and like cabin air is very dehydrating to your skin. So just misting your skin while traveling really helps not arriving to your destination, with dehydrated skin. It's amazing post-workout. It really kind of helps to repair skin barrier that might have been compromised by, excessive sweat and heat, kind of like helps cool you off.
But again, you just said it again. I said it before and I was like, oh, I should have. One last thing. It's the anti-staining technology is really only applies to skin, not to fabric. So if you do apply it on your like body, like don't apply it. Like if you have a long shirt, don't like roll up your sleeve, put it and then roll the sleeve back down, because you're going to get, it could wash off in the laundry or not. I have no idea, but.
Oh, actually I once was in the clinic where I took I was going to CVAC and I was given a dropper of methylene blue. And for whatever reason, the lady was like, let me just drop it into your mouth. And I opened my mouth and she, of course, dropped it on my shirt and my pants. And it never washed off.
Okay, so don't do that.
Yes, but it's also was in a different concentration. And you shouldn't spray the spray on your white shirt and experimenting. But honestly, I've been using it all the time and didn't stain me.
I would say one last thing as far as a caveat around using it, protocols to use it. You can use it before microneedling at home or in office before whatever. It actually, that's some of the research that has been done, is how great it is prior to any trauma to the skin.
Yeah, post-procedure is one of my favorite use cases after non-ablative treatments.
Too.
Yeah, pre and post, after non-ablative treatments like certain lasers or microneedling. So the skin is inflamed and energy hungry. So methylene blue recycling and SOD frontline defense can help calm visible redness, while the peptides and NAD precursors encourage efficient remodeling. Always follow your practitioner's instructions, but to our lovely wholesalers who carry our products, know that we've already updated protocols where you know how to incorporate it into your in-office procedures.
Yeah. Last cool thing I'm going to say about it is we spoke a lot about hydration. People with oily skin are actually going to love this one, because most hydrators are what we call occlusives. They kind of block, or a physical block from water to get out. This is not the case. It just improves how your skin makes skin barrier and how it holds on to moisture. But it's not an occlusive product. It doesn't sit on top of the skin. So it will not make you more oily if you're an oily skinned person. And on the opposite side of it, it's more like a fixer of hydration if you're dry, if you have a drier skin, rather than just like a Band-Aid, right?
Yeah.
But I think we're kind of nearing the end. Anything else, that we didn't cover, you think?
I will just say that for kind of like internal feedback and observations, people that we've sent the prototypes have told us that, over immediate use, the skin is hydrated and calm, but within a few days and weeks, they've seen improvements in elasticity and transepidermal water loss. So that is something you can expect from consistent use. And it kind of also lines up with literature on methylene blue's impact on the mitochondrial function and, matrix gene expression, SOD's antioxidant buffering. I think, let me translate this. The skin looks less tired and just bounce back faster from stress. I honestly, I think you guys, our lovely listeners, have so many mists on the market, so many sprays. And we, as Amitai already mentioned here, we have access to the latest longevity science. We're passionate about everything we create. We wanted to create something cool. I have no doubt it's going to be one of our cult products in no time. And I'm excited for you guys to try it. Please let us know what you think of it and keep us posted. If you do decide to get it, please tag us on Instagram using it. We just love it.
Use code podcast10 on our website. I want to say, I don't want to exaggerate because no one has heard me say what I'm going to say right now before. So I sound like purred happily from... I'm going to say something I'm going to say right now. But I think this could be a defining moment for Young Goose. Like, I really think this product crystallizes what we are about as a company. And it might be, because of the lower price point, that this will be a product that everyone will be able to use and experience our science and what we are about. So I'm really excited about this product. And if anyone, there's so much to talk about, but if you remembered one thing from this entire podcast, remember this: normal mists, even the mist that we used until now, uses sacrificial antioxidants. So it works only when you spray it on. This is cumulative results. This has long-lasting results. It's a whole new category, I think, on its own. But yeah, I think, that would be it. I don't know. Do you want to do like rapid fire questions, or you want to leave it at that?
No, I think this is great, really. And after you guys listened to this episode, if you have any questions, like maybe like, oh, how is this spray interact with acne? How is it interact? Like any other questions you may have, put them in review section on podcasts. We'll make sure to answer your question on the next podcast recording. I think
great. Again, if you like this podcast, leave a comment and a review on Apple Podcasts. Share it with other people. That's how we grew to begin with. We kind of had a spike where people started sharing our podcast with other people. And of course, that's what we're about, helping as many people on their wellness and skin wellness journey. That's why we're here. If you really want to support this podcast, go to younggoose.com, use podcast10, get 10% off, try our amazing products. Obviously, we talked about one today. And
I think closing thoughts, Blue Peptide Spray is our answer to stressed modern skin. Give your mitochondria a catalytic assistant. Give the antioxidant network, push. And let us know how you like it.
Amen. Bye.
Bye. Thank you for listening.